I'm sitting in my cubicle, 1995, at my first telemarketing job. I look to my right, and there's a woman sunken into her computer. She definitely doesn't want to talk to me. And I look to my left, and there he is. And I decide to talk to him. His name is Mike. Well, Michelangelo is what his name tag says, but he tells me that his name is Mike. I look at him some more, and I assume Filipino. Yeah, he Filipino. He looks like all the Filipinos that go to my school with the hip hop and the haircut and the look. And little by little we become friends, him and I. We're on the same survey team. And because we're 16, 15, 16 years old, we really can't, or let's just say it's not that we can't, I don't want him to know where I'm from. I'm from the west side of Chicago, y'all. The west side, where everybody says that the west side is not the best side. And he's not from the west side. He's from the north side, the northwest side, the fancy side, the side that I just don't need him and his family talking about me and my family. So instead of letting him give me a ride home, we decide that we'll just hang out after work. I go to the fancy college prep high school. He goes to one right down the street. We find that we have all these things in common. And then from friends, we just start dating. And it just kind of happens. In the 90s, that's just how it happened. There was no like, let me ask you out. There is no like, let's define this. It's just, y'all just go together now. And we just started going together. And I still am not comfortable with him coming to my hood. So we continue our little dates after work. He takes me to see higher learning for on our first official date. And I remember when he took me to see higher learning, I wondered why he took me to see higher learning, because I never mentioned that I wanted to see higher learning, but it was like the hot movie of the year. And I was like, well, maybe, I mean, and he's also Filipino, is really into hip hop. So maybe it's the Busta Rhymes appearance in the movie that he wants to see. And so I just say, okay, we'll go see higher learning. I don't think it's really for me. I think it's more for him. My first gift from him is a mixtape of R&B songs, which again, I don't think I told him I was into R&B, but I also know that he must be into R&B, and so he gives me this R&B tape. I choose all the food places because he lets me, and because he's Filipino, and also I'm 16, 15, and I'm a little problematic, I guess. I figure he likes Chinese food because that's what Filipinos eat, right? Chinese food. So I give him, we go to eat Chinese buffet all the time. And it's like this for months. We get out of our little survey job, we'll go to either a beefy sub or a fast food like a China buffet. But this is our routine. And on the days he does get the courage to drop me off, my little 5'5" black curly hair mom is standing on the porch just waiting for him to drop me off. And she just has a look that is like, just drop her off, don't stop and say hi. And he does. He like gives me a hug in the car, and I get out and go upstairs with my mom. It's a nice thing to have so much in common with Mike. Me from the west side, him from the northwest side. We're comic book nerds. We like reading. We go to really great schools in the city, and we don't want each other to meet our parents. And we're okay with it. On a day that is kind of gloomy. And I think he says, let's go somewhere different to eat. I say, okay, sure. Why not? I think about what different means to him because he's Chinese, you know, because he's Filipino. And I'm like, maybe he likes tacos. Like maybe he likes tacos. Let's go eat some tacos. And I know the spot. Y'all, I know this spot. My stepfather loves this spot. It's on the way to dropping me off. There's two just like it. There's one, a little shack on the on the east side of the street, and there's a restaurant on the west side of the street, and you never go to the restaurant because they serve everything there. But in the little shack, that's where you get just the burritos and the tacos and all the steak you want. And they stuffed the burritos pretty good there too. So I'm like, let's go to Pasadita. And so I tell him, hey, do you want to go to Pasadita? And he's like, yeah, girl, let's go to Pasadita. I know that place. And I'm like, oh, perfect. So then you know how to get there. And he's like, sure do. And so we drive south on Ashland Avenue to Pasadita, and he knows exactly the one to go to. He does not park in front of the restaurant. He parks in the back behind the shack. I love this person. We get out, we go inside, and there's always a line in this place, and it's packed, and there's only like 4 seats and a Pac-Man machine, and that's it. And so we're waiting for one of the four seats to open up, and when they do, we sit down, and the gentleman that cuts up the meat and serves up the food and rings you up is just one dude, does it all, asks, what could I get you? And I look at him and I say, me da un burrito de carne asada con todo. And Mike looks at me and says, where did you learn Spanish? And I say to him, excuse me? Because the question throws me off. What do you mean where did I learn Spanish? And as I say, excuse me, the guy says, and you? And he says, igual, también, a mí también me da. And I said, well, wait, where did you learn Spanish? And and I was like, well, I learned life, motherfucker, life. I learned Spanish. Life taught me Spanish. And I was like, what about you? Did you take it at Gordon, your school? No, I'm Mexican. Wait, you ain't Mexican, you Filipino. No. Wait, you're Mexican? He says to me. I look at him like wide-eyed, like, what you mean? Yeah, of course, I'm Mexican. And we stare at each other, and I can see him like looking at my face, and I am in this scene like Usual Suspects, right? Putting together the pieces and the cups and the Kobayashi mug, everything is coming together, and it's like, oh, higher learning, the R&B tapes, and I can see him putting together the Chinese food and the hip hop, and oh, we're Mexicans, just 2 Mexicans enjoying carne asada burritos, huh? And we laugh. We laugh and we laugh and we laugh. And I love this person. I love this human being. He would become my son's father, that 5-year-old, like that he would become my baby daddy. And I always think about why it took us so long getting to know each other, like why it never came up. And I figured, oh, well, he saw a Black woman at my door. He thought I was Black, and I saw him and he looked Asian. And you know what? It didn't matter. It never mattered. And had it mattered, we wouldn't have made the most amazing human being in the world to me. Had it mattered. Our son, Xavier. So I think our somewhat like willful ignorance, it's just like whatever. But more than anything, I think our background and, carne asada burritos. Thanks.
Go Lily. Go Lily.
From Chicago, girl.
Yes.
You told that well.
Uh,
Wow.
Very good. Very good.